The Whispered File, Duzakh. In ancient Persia, long before hell became a Christian concept, the Zoroastrians had already imagined the worst place the human mind could conjure. They called it Duzakh, a bottomless well of absolute darkness, so narrow you cannot turn, so foul the stench alone could kill. And in that pit lived things that made human suffering look like mercy. Picture the world as the Persians saw it around 2,000 years ago. The great empires of Mesopotamia and the Mediterranean were still young. In Persia, the priests of Zoroaster had spent centuries mapping not just the physical world, but the invisible one, the war between good and evil that played out in every storm, every plague, every act of cruelty. They needed a name for the destination of the wicked. They called it Duzakh. According to their sacred texts, Duzakh was not just dark, it was actively hostile. The creatures that dwelled there, the Srafstars, demons born of chaos, were so enormous that even the smallest of them towered like mountains. These weren't metaphors to the believers. They were literal, and they fed on the damned, not quickly, not mercifully. They devoured slowly, eternally, adapting each torture to match the sin, a liar's tongue torn out again and again. Those who committed sexual crimes subjected to horrors the texts only hint at. The Zoroastrians were obsessed with precision in punishment. But here's where it gets stranger. The word Duzakh didn't stay confined to Persian theology. It traveled. It infected language after language. Kurdish, Pashto, Turkmen, Bengali, Hindi. Even Georgian borrowed it, transforming it into Duzakh. The concept of hell itself, as we understand it in a dozen cultures across Asia and the Middle East, may trace back to this single Persian idea of a well so deep that light itself refuses to enter. What's remarkable is how this ancient vision persists. Duzakh isn't mentioned in most Western histories of religion. We're taught that hell is a Christian invention, that Dante imagined it in the Middle Ages. But the Persians had already written the blueprint. They'd already decided what happens to the guilty, and they'd made it specific enough, detailed enough, that it echoed forward through centuries. So the question is, did later religions borrow from Zoroastrianism? Or did they independently arrive at the same nightmare? And if hell itself is just a human universal, a fear we all share, what does that say about what we think we deserve?